So it looks like you're getting a double header here on Studio Jake. That's right. We're going to talk about Gina Carano's latest interview that she did with the Post Millennial.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Go for a ride down the side.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today on my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. And one of those topics, one of my all time favorites, I love talking about Gina Carano. She used to be on The Mandalorian. She was a frequent character or excuse me, she was a frequent actress who portrayed the character Cara Dune in both season one and season two. She was introduced in season one, obviously, in an episode directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. And fantastic episode, but I will say that, you know, she if I had known then what I know now, I may not have gotten so attached because following a very innocuous Instagram reel or story, Disney decided to let her go. It was just nothing short of a bullying tactic. In fact, other actors on the set of The Mandalorian had made similar comments, just the opposite political spectrum. And so she was unceremoniously fired, and all the goodwill that Disney had gotten with Star Wars fans through the appearance of Luke Skywalker in the season two finale of The Mandalorian was lost in one instant. And they have not even uh, gotten a smidgen of it back, despite Andor being an actually pretty good show, but it just hasn't mattered in the long run. So, all that to say, people have speculated in Gina Carano. She's very classy, so she hasn't really, gone into depth about what happened. Now, she did two interviews, one with the Patrick Bet David podcast as part of his Valuetainment, where she got a little bit more specific, and she did tell this story about how things were hostile with her and Kathleen Kennedy, who was the backstabber that took over Lucasfilm after Disney purchased it from George Lucas, and how from the get-go, Kathleen Kennedy made it clear she did not like Gina Carano. And in fact, at the first Star Wars celebration where Gina Carano was present, where they talked about her character, Cara Dune, Kathleen Kennedy shook hands to all the principal actors who were on stage, but walked right past Gina. And it was all an attempt to humiliate Gina, but of course, Gina can't be canceled and she can't be humiliated. And she has gone on to make Terror on the Prairie. She's making another movie, and she announced that she was going to be directing a movie soon, so I can't wait for that. She did a follow-up interview. They're calling it an exclusive because everything has to be an exclusive these days. But the post millennial, as I like to call them, the Tim Pool millennial, because they love to suck up to Tim Pool for some reason, they did another interview. Their reporter Libby Emmons, she did a sit down with Gina, and this is from that article. And basically, for those of you who don't know, Gina Carano has decided to sue Disney for her unceremonious firing, and Elon Musk is footing the bill for that. So pretty exciting. Elon Musk and Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, has had this rivalry, and this is a good way for Elon to get at him. So Gina kind of opened up about that, and she mentioned having X pay for her attorney, and she said, "They want to see the right thing done by me," she told the Post Millennial. "I'm happy that people are going to actually have to dig in and take my situation seriously, and they're going to have to understand when they're looking through all this what their company was doing, and by looking through that they're going to have to make adjustments, so it's going to make it that much harder for it to happen to the next person, and that's why what I'm doing is important." And that's a good fact. I would love to see what Disney is hiding if this case makes to Discovery, which I desperately hope it does, because it's going to be a landslide of information about Disney's practice, how they unfairly treat white straight males and females, how their DEI has been governed by these ridiculous standards. We all saw the leak of their diversity, equity, and whatever the I is, how that's how they set that up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see even more lawsuits about Disney for this unfair hiring practice. But she continues, and she was talking about when the ex-attorneys reached out. She said a lot of people, billionaires, put their money wherever they put it, she said. But to put your money into defending people that have been done wrong is such a noble cause. It's like Elon Musk is some kind of Batman. Well, I don't agree with her on that. I think that it's no. Elon Musk is not like Batman. But continuing on, she was talking about how she tried to get into Disney, and she says, I tried to get a voice acting agent because I think anime would be something really fun to get into. I would love to hear her voice an anime character. And the first thing that lady asked me, the first question, well, how's your relationship with Disney? And I was like, well, they fired me. But I was kind of like, this is stuck on me. This is like all these things are stuck on me. And then she says, it's like I've been in this desert where I belong nowhere. I'm alone. I had my moment with the Daily Wire, but I don't work with them. I'm not employed by them. I'm a solo artist out here, and I'm grateful for them. But, I'm just on my own out here. And so I feel like I'm sitting here in the desert and just trying to stay positive and trying to rebuild, getting doors closed on me. Now it feels like there's energy that's pushing forward that is like an actual rehabilitation of a career and a comeback, and I can feel it, and it's exciting, and I can see it, and other people see it. It's happening in others' careers. And she talks about Duncan for a minute, who was a guy who stood up against tyranny. And it's just so shocking was why they fired her. And she kind of gets into that here. She says, I was like, what is the least offensive thing you could ever do? And it's like, that is the least offensive thing, referring to her beat bop boop pronouns and bio thing. And then if there was just so many aggressive like trolls and bots and haters, and probably a lot of misled young people who love to bully people. And so when somebody would say something bad to me, I would just beep boop at them, because I feel like that was basically the cutest thing. You see all of these others, a lot of my male co-stars would go aggressive at these people and some stuff, and I'm like over here booping people, and I'm the one that gets fired. And that's a great point. Then she mentions that this wrongful termination suit, that she wants to do this to clear her name. And she adds, Disney can put you in court for years. Now, there are some comments by her lawyer, but I want you to go to this article and read that for yourself. So she added, we all feel pretty confident, and this is not something that they're going to be able to dismiss. And like I said, go and read the whole thing for yourself. But I am fully on Gina Carano's side on this. I think she was fired. I remember I got into a little, at the time, Twitter debate with this guy who said Disney did the right thing because she was not promoting their values. And I said, she's exactly promoting their values. And then I threw in some of how her male co-stars were behaving. Now, I highly recommend you go watch the Patrick Bet-David interview. It's a fantastic interview, and I highly recommend you read this interview with the post-millennial. Gina Carano, if you ever watch this, and I genuinely hope you do, I want you to know how many fans, Star Wars and otherwise, have your back. You have touched our hearts through your performance as Cara Dune in Star Wars: The Mandalorian, in the Marvel Universe, in the first Deadpool movie, in the Fast and Furious franchise, and in the Old West through Terror on the Prairie. You are a bright beacon, and everyone who watches my podcast knows that I'm not like super into celebrity culture or anything, but I do appreciate you and all the hard work you've put in through, and for showing us that we can beat cancel culture. So stay the course, stay strong, because you are one incredible person for not bending the knee to the bullies.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die